What is up, beautiful human? I am so excited to share this with you because what I'm about to share with you has absolutely transformed my life. And it's also been a synthesis of work over the last 8 years. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to dive right in. All right. So what I want to share with you is the 7-figure Skool engine. And this is something that has helped me to make millions of dollars, but only recently has it all really clicked into place. All right. And so watch this video all the way to the end, and I'm going to show you a never before business model that literally just simplifies everything. So if you are an expert, a professional, a coach, someone with a monetizable skill set, and you're tired of the runaround, you're tired of the BS, and you just want a simple system that actually lets you do what you're great at, then this is definitely for you. And in case you're wondering, like, should I listen to this guy? So I have been on the Skool platform almost since day one. We won the Skool games 3 times last year. We built a 7-figure business using what I'm going to share with you today. I've also been in this space for like 8 years in the online world. I've never seen anything like this. And I've been behind the scenes of some of the biggest names in the personal development space, like Kelly Brogan, Sherry Salata, who is the president of Oprah Winfrey's own network, Aaron Abke, Mark Groves, Tom Cowan. And so we've worked with many 7-figure brands. We've also worked with a ton of amazing clients like Kevin Lee. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about their stories later. But Kevin, we worked with him and he went from 8 to 55K per month using ads, which is a part of the system that we use. All right, Jessica London, pelvic floor therapist, went from 10 to 45K per month with her Skool system. Again, a part of the system that we use. AJ, we helped him go from 0 all the way to 30K per month, win the Skool games. He's a weapon with sales. And then Robbie, who started from nothing as well and went all the way up to 45K per month, mostly because of a really aligned offer. All right. And so we've helped lots of people, but really that doesn't really matter, okay? Because what really matters is, will this work for you? And I'm going to trust that you will figure that out for yourself as I share this process, and you can determine whether or not that's going to work for you. But I'll tell you right now, the reason that those people got success is because they're great at what they do. They are super committed, and they just did the work, and they took the coaching, and they implemented, and they got our help. All right. But really, like, they're really great at what they do, and they're really committed. Okay. This isn't a fast cash thing. This isn't anything like that. It is a simple system, but you have to be good at what you do. That's the catch. All right. So what I want to share with you is, and like what we're helping people do is build a lifestyle, become a lifestyle founder, and build a $50,000 to $100,000 per month in profit business. And really, there's these different stages that people come to us or work to us on. And it kind of looks like this. So you might be at a stage where you're making less than 10 grand a month, let's say. All right. And if that's you, what we call you is the apprentice. All right. And then the next stage, we call this little dude, he's the magician. And this is typically when you've got a trickle of leads and cash flow, and you're making maybe 10 to 30 per month. All right. At the next stage, you're making between 30 to 60 per month. You've got some flow. We call this the wizard stage. All right. And then there is the flood stage where, you're making $1 million a year. That's the king or the queen. These are all dudes, but we work with women. Just didn't want to put 2 archetypes on each of these. All right. So here we are. Right? There's 4 stages. And at each of these stages, guess what? Not only does the things that you have to focus on your business change, but you have to become the next version of yourself in order to get to the next level. All right. This is something that a lot of people don't really talk about. They think they're just like one funnel away or one strategy away. You have to become somebody who can build $1 million business before you can ever see that actually materialize. Okay, it's not magic, but there is actual things that you have to figure out. And in a really simple way, all right, if you're in the under 10K per month, the only thing to focus on is building an offer. You need to find an offer that people actually want to buy, and that's really it. If you're in the 10 to 30K per month range, what we suggest is just building a community, because if you, like, as much as the world is changing, AI this, AI that, algorithm this, algorithm that, at the basis of every business, it's still the same, which is just relationships. All right. And so if you can build a community of people or build relationships, you'll be just fine. All right. Then at the next stage, you really need to start focusing on building out your systems. And then at the highest stage, it starts to become about building a brand. And I'll talk about this in a second, a little bit more. But one of the biggest problems that people have is they do the right thing at the wrong time in their business. I see people who are just starting and they're like, I need to get my brand organized. It's like, you do not need a brand, dude. All right. And so then what tends to happen at each of these stages as well, on the other side, is like when you're just starting, you typically don't have any leads or anybody in your community. And a big part of what we do is helping people grow their Skool community, right? So at this stage, if you can grow your community to 100 to 2,000 members, it's typically when you can be monetizing for 10 to 30K. At 2,000 to 5,000 members, you can be hitting 30 to 60. And then beyond that, you have like an engaged community and a wait list. And that's where you start to see $1 million businesses, all right? Lifestyle businesses. Now, at each of these stages as well, there are certain symptoms. So here's what we're going to do right now is you're going to tell me where you're at and if this kind of lands. Okay, so if you're in the apprentice stage, tell me if this is true, right? This is typically what we see where people are, let's draw with a white, I guess. These are the symptoms of someone who is under 10K per month. If you're in the 10 to 30K per month, these might be some of your symptoms. At 30 to 60, you have different problems. And at 80, at $1 million, you have different problems as well. So at every different stage, there are different problems with different solutions, different steps that you need to take. All right. I'm not going to go into all of these right now, but essentially it's build your offer, build your community. This is how. Build your system. These are the primary systems. Also have an EA who can run the system for you so you don't burn yourself out. And then you build a brand and you can grow at scale. All right. So there are there's a pathway. There's a way of building this business. One of the most important things is doing the right thing at the right time. All right. And I want to tell you just like a little bit of a story because here's what our business looked like not that long ago. Maybe in start of this year. So maybe 8-9 months ago. All right. We were crushing it how it looked. All right. So we had 2 communities and we were doing over $100,000 a month. Amazing, right? But if you actually looked under the hood, by the way, this is the thing that most people that you see who are successful online, who are sharing Stripe accounts and how much money they make, like what they're not showing you usually is profit. All right. And that's usually a very different game. And I want to bring a little bit of transparency to this place because here's what our numbers actually looked like is we were making 100 grand, but we only really had about 30% of profit. We were spending a lot of money on ads. We're spending a lot of money on a big team. And here's the real truth. We were here, okay, but we did not have this dialed in. And we started to go here, but we weren't ready for that. And we didn't have the system that felt aligned to me and the system to actually contain our growth. And then there was a moment that everything changed, okay? Because basically for about 6 or 7, maybe 8 months, we were crushing and we were growing, and I was building the business the way that I thought I was supposed to build the business, which is hire the setter, hire the closer. Even though I love closing by chat, I don't really like doing sales calls, but I'm like, I think you have to build it this way. And we're growing, and we won the Skool games 3 times. Like, how many times you got to win the Skool games? We're making more money than I ever thought imaginable. All right, $100,000 a month was literally not possible 4 years ago. Not even in my head as possible. And I just kept getting to like, so what? Like, well, now what? And you hear that all the time, right? I'm sure you've heard people say that, but these big goals that you set for yourself and then you achieve them, it's like if they're external from you, okay, who cares? And then something tragic happened in my family, and it was at cousin camp, and here we all are, and we're having an amazing time. And this is just maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And at cousin camp, Luca, she passed away suddenly, and she had a seizure, and she just passed away. And ambulance came, they took her away, and she was with, our whole family was there, and like it really shook me. And I think really why is because nobody like really that close who wasn't like a grandparent or somebody who was supposed to die, and it was like really close, and it hit me in a way that was like, oh, we die, and it's like I've been living life not present to the fact that we actually die. And so Luca, gave me a great gift in her death with that remembering that like life is short, and like what are we doing? And so I sat with that, and I realized like I don't even like the business that I'm building, and I don't want to build it this way, and I don't really care. I don't really care to now I guess we go make more money. I felt uninspired and frankly kind of shook. And so I sat with it for not even that long, and I made some pretty drastic changes. Let team members go, took some time off, and just like realigned and brought everything back down to, okay, let me just simplify this into something that feels very aligned for me. And so as I did that, I let team members go. I cut down expenses, but something interesting, like just from in a numbers perspective, I thought was very interesting. So over here, okay, this is what it looked like. And at the end of the day, there was about 30 grand a month that was like profit that I used to pay myself. Okay. But after, we stopped taking on clients, I cut expenses, and like we dropped our income significantly. Like this is like, 70 grand, 70K. I made some good mistakes in this time period. I also our income dropped by 70K. But here's the thing, by cutting all the expenses and just simplifying everything, we went to 75% profit instead of 30% profit. And so even though I was making significantly less, it was only a difference of 9 grand when it was all said and done in my pocket. And I personally didn't even feel any difference because I've always just paid myself 15 grand. And the business, is building up some cash. But this was just like interesting to me. Right? And yeah, I got to pay myself more, sure. But that's a different conversation. My main thing that I just wanted to share here is, you can build a business that is just simple, more lean, in your own way and in alignment, leveraging AI with more profit margin and get, close to the same result, way less stress. And so then this cool thing happened where we ran an event in Kelowna, all right? And we ran it in partnership with Skool, and it is part of the In Real Life Skool events. And let me tell you a crazy story, okay? A short one. But we were running this event, and we were selling these tickets, and we were like, we're going to make this the biggest Skool event ever. It's going to be amazing. And just like the tickets were not selling. And I was still in this like grief moment and trying to I just don't care about like making the money, but yet this event, we were selling tickets and we were aiming to make some money on it. And Alexander and I were just talking and got to this point in a conversation. We're like, why don't we just give it all away? Like give all the money to charity. And let's just stop trying to make money on it. And that shift was like literally, I feel like the shift that God's been like put on my heart for the last 9 months. It's like, you don't get it. Like, you're playing the wrong game. There's a different game for you. And the minute that we shifted and we just said, we're going to donate all of the money to Ronald McDonald House, which is the space that Luca spent many years of her life before she passed away getting help and support. And we're just going to donate to Ronald McDonald House. And the minute we did that, the tickets started to roll in. Okay, that's cool, right? That's kind of cool. But then something else happened. 24 hours before the event, we had $4,000, and we were kind of like, we wanted to give a big check, but we're like, it's $4,000. Maybe we'll just give like a quiet little check in the background or something. And sure enough, 24 hours left, the tickets just started flooding in. And we actually were able to give a check for $12,500, which would have been cool by itself, right? But then the craziest thing happened, all right? Somebody in the audience says, I'll donate 10,000. And so all of a sudden it was plus 10K. And then this guy who was like, I'll match that. And all of a sudden it was 45K, like plus 45K. And then we had Renee Warren and Dan Martell, who were there in the audience. And they're like, we're going to donate 50K to the cause. And the donations kept coming in. And we actually raised $107,000 from this little event, from an idea or an intention of like, we're just going to give. And this is where I've found so much clarity in what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And the Skool games are cool, but we want to play a different kind of game. And we're playing the giving games. And the giving games is this crazy idea that I really believe the only way it happens is if the Holy Spirit and God and all the powers that be that are greater than any one of us does his magic. But the idea is so clear in my mind. And we're going to inspire 100,000 entrepreneurs to give $1 billion over the next 3 years. And we're going to do that through this process because I know how it happens. It first happens through a process of becoming more of who you are, which often is releasing all the things that you're not. But as you become more, then you earn more. And as you earn more, you're going to be able to give more. And this is really the game that I'm playing, that we are playing, that we're inviting people like you into, if you feel in alignment with this. But now, if you are a coach or an expert or professional, there are challenges within your business that we know how to solve because we've built something over the last 8 years of synthesizing, seeing like the best in the space, working with over 1,000 clients, and synthesizing a process that has become the Skool engine. And I really do think this is the best model that I have ever seen in all my time in the online space. Because it's simple, it's predictable, it's sustainable, and it actually works. And the tools like Skool have developed and matured to a place where it actually works the way that you would want it to work. Okay, and so the first thing that I'll just kind of speak about this high level is we want to help people build 7-figure lifestyle empires. But in order to do that, you have to become a 7-figure lifestyle founder. Now, there are problems within your business. Like the reason that you haven't achieved this, likely, is because you have not yet become the person who can. But then secondarily, there are 4 big practical problems that get in the way. So the first one being typically poor lead flow, The second one is the environment right now, which is a very low trust environment. Okay, the third problem is many online entrepreneurs, they lack the skill set that is required to be an entrepreneur. And then fourth, they don't have the time or they're burnt out. All right. And so what you want instead, and what you need to figure out how to solve, is you need to be able to attract leads on repeat. All right. Then you need to be able to nurture your leads in your community so that you have trust that compounds over time. You need to be able to convert offers that sell, which requires some skills like sales and copywriting. And you need to be able to deliver results without you so that you actually have leverage. And so in our business, what we're trying to do is help you to build a 7-figure lifestyle business that gives you more flow, more fun, more freedom, and fulfillment. And to do that, we have these 8 accelerators or little projects that we run you through to help you achieve each of these things. So how do we help you attract leads on repeat? Well, we do 2 things. We help you grow your brand, and we do that, and then we help you run your ads, or we do both of these things at the same time, really. And they both help each other. All right? How do you nurture so that clients actually want to buy from you in 7 to 14 days? Well, it comes down to a cadence with your content and then workshops. Those are the 2 best methods that I've discovered for nurturing. A lot of people are doing content to try and attract their clients. I find this to be much more effective. In order to convert offers that actually sell, you need 2 things. One is an application engine, and you need a really strong offer doc. You don't need any fancy funnels or like websites. You just need a direct link where people can go to apply to work with you. All right. And to deliver great results without you, you have to be clear on what is the journey that you're taking people through. And you have to be able to unpack your intellectual property. And then this cool thing happens. And so Kevin here, when he came in to work with us, he was making $8K, had an offer that kind of worked, but literally it was like 2 months before it was like, man, I need to figure out how to make this work. And so we ran ads with him for the first time, and we shifted his offer, we shifted his niche, and he went all the way up to $55,000 a month. All right, so we helped him grow from 8 to 55, and what we ended up helping him with really was like turning on the lead flow. And then Jessica was a pelvic floor therapist. She came to us around 10K per month, but had built a business like all the bros, the marketing bros suggest, like I was doing. All right, like parts of. And she came in and built a Skool community and focused on content and workshops and hiring a couple key people. And that scaled her all the way up to 45K per month. All right, so we helped her grow. And maybe more importantly, is she was actually having fun in her business again. And then AJ came in with no offer. We helped him dial in his offer. And here's the thing about AJ. AJ was already really good at sales. So he had the sales skill. And as a result of that, he got a remarkable result by going from 0 to 30K in less than a year. But he had the skills. And then Robbie came into our program, and he was a firefighter when he came in. By the time he had left the firefighting to be a full-time fitness coach for firefighters. And so there was a level of alignment in his offer that just made total sense. It was authentic, he was an authority, and there was total alignment. And so his offer crushed. And now he's delivering great lives and transforming lives. Okay? And so when you have ads turned on, you have flow. When you're making sales, well, that's pretty fun. When you have a system in place, you start to have freedom. And then you start to be able to do your purpose, like your real work, what you're here to do. All right, and this is the system, and this is what we help people build, and this is how we've grown our own business. But there's also a couple secrets to why this works. All right, so the first secret is giving by growing. What do I mean? Like literally, generosity is a growth strategy. We have lots of these growth strategies. At the event, when we gave, we helped inspire $107,000 of giving. We also made over $100,000 that month with no sales calls, while running 2 retreats and traveling to Belize. And we made we made over $100,000 that month as well. Why? And it's not always directly connected, but generosity is the growth strategy. Next is we run ads, okay? We get leads for $3 to $6. It's just, it's like, just run the ads, all right? It's way easier than trying to get leads any other way. Spend a little bit of money and save a lot of time. AI is here, all right? So if you're not implementing AI into everything that you do, you're just wasting time. You can save so much time with AI. So we've infused AI into every part of our business, and the one big one is we have a Skool moderator. We call him Dr. Nacho, and he runs the show. Him and our EA, all right? Skool is the primary software that we use, which just simplifies everything, all right? It's a very simple business model. And then you have to know which numbers to track so that you can improve incrementally month after month. And this is what it looks like is, and what we're calling it is the Skool engine, the 7-figure Skool engine. It's helped us make well over $1 million. And it looks something like this, right? There's 2 parts to this. And when people work with us, these are the things that we help them with. First, we help them get clear on what the goals are and what is their game that they are playing. Then we help them articulate the problem that they're solving very clearly. All right? There's only 4 things. The further you go away from these 4 things, the harder it is for people to understand what it is you do. You can either help them make more money, look more beautiful, get out of physical pain, or have more love. All right? These are the 4 things that you don't have to educate people on why they should spend money, or if that is like a primary problem for them. All right. Next is crafting a bold promise and then developing their product, their offer, right? And having a clear roadmap from A to B with their own unique process. This is the foundation, all right? Nothing else really matters or works. Like if you have a crappy offer, your ads are just going to reflect the fact that you have a crappy offer, okay? If you're unclear about any of these things, nothing else really matters. Nothing else is going to work. If you're really clear on all of these, lots of different things can work for you. But what works for us is basically these 4 things down here. And this is what the Skool engine is. So we run ads on Instagram and Facebook. All right. And we have something called a macro magnet, which is free. And it's basically like this video right now. I'm explaining our big picture, what it is we do. All right. And then we have a micro magnet, which might be a free or a paid small resource, workshop. But typically it's something that is paid. All right. But both of these things are just resources that live inside of our free community. And this is actually, because of the new feature, a freemium. So it's free to join our Skool community, and we have some paid stuff on the inside. All right. And then here in our community is where everybody goes to nurture. All right. And then here we have a little video and an application where we set, sell, and close. Okay. And this is where we convert. And lastly, this is one of the most important, is being able to keep your clients. This is where you start to build monthly recurring revenue, something that doesn't get a lot of airtime, but is so important. It's way easier to keep a client than to constantly be chasing new ones. All right. And that comes down to how you structure your offer and how you frame what it is you do. All right. But this is the Skool engine where we attract, nurture, convert, and deliver. Inside of Skool, using ads, using AI. And there's 7 key numbers. So I'm going to give you, here's how to do it. All right. Here's how to do this yourself. These are the numbers that you're going to want to track. All right. You want to track your close rate. You want 10% of members who join your free Skool community to fill out an application. You want 15% of members who land on your Skool page to convert, to join. Okay, 60 to 70% of the booked appointments are the people that fill out an application. So we close by chat. I don't do calls anymore. But if you're newer, you would probably want to do calls, right? So there's some nuance to this, obviously, figuring out how to set it up best for you. But 60 to 70% of people who fill out an application should be seeing an offer, all right? Collecting 30% of your cash up front, getting a 3 times return on ad spend, and making sure that you're above 60% profit margin. If you hit all of these metrics, spend more money, all right? But that's it. There's 7 kind of key numbers. There's a couple assets that you got to build, and this machine just works, all right? So how to do it? I'll give you these are the things that you need. You create a Skool, all right? Then you launch some ads that direct people directly into your Skool. You create content in your Skool that gets people to know, like, and trust you. Get your backpack, which is our software system that runs like the AI, and you don't need that, but you would want something like that that helps you save time, like you're using AI in building systems. Set up an application funnel, run workshops weekly or monthly, hire an EA to run everything with AI, build your AI, and then optimize your dashboard and your tracking. Okay, so these are the steps of how to build this kind of business. But if you're watching this, you're like, this sounds really awesome. I want to learn more, or I want some help building this. Then there'll be a button underneath here. You can apply to work with us, and we'll let you know if you're fit or if we have something for you that isn't this, which would probably be an introduction to somebody else, because this is all we do, okay? But if you've watched this far and you find this interesting, this feels aligned for you, then I want to invite you to apply, and we'll get back to you either way. But we're looking for people who really want to build a $50,000 to $100,000 per month business, who already have a proven offer, who are in momentum, and maybe most importantly, they have a monetizable skill set. All right. So they're good at what they do, and they just need some help having a system so that they can do what they're great at more. All right. So that they can get more leads, they can have more sales, they can have more time, and they have more fun, and they can give more money and join us in that bigger vision of inspiring $1 billion of giving. All right. So thanks for watching, and you can go ahead and apply if this feels aligned for you. All right. Peace out.